Why do only children get to have fun? Hi, I'm Nanny. I'm a 30-something-year-old woman. I want to be a Disney princess. Disneybounding. It's a fashion-forward way of dressing up like the characters of Disney that you like, without wearing a full costume. Not really cosplay, but something similar. There are, of course, some rules for adults wearing full costumes at Disneyland.
Actually, people older than 14 years old are not supposed to wear any full costumes, but there are exceptions to the rules, like during some of these special events that they organize. There is a way around this, of course, and that's called Disneybounding. The queen of Disneybounders is Lady Damfino. She is very good at it, I have to say. Disney has still the final say whether you are allowed to go inside the parks or not, so you have to be careful. And then I came across this beauty by Designer Daddy, and I thought to myself, why only children get to have fun? I don't like that, so I'll make one for me, because I'm old and weird.
I love patterns, so I will create the fabrics myself, and I will try to push all of the possible boundaries of these rules without being kicked out of Disneyland. Follow me to my drawing room, please.
This has been going for 10 minutes already. Belle, one of the most intelligent women in France, or so they say. We have two colors. I want to make both dresses. For the blue one, I was thinking more of a library. And for the yellow one, I will add all of the lovely characters that are enchanted or cursed in the castle by the beast. Yeah, let's start this, shall we?
The blue dress will be the dress that will be on the outside, and for that I want some sleeves to cover what's underneath. It will be a little shorter than this drawing, I think. It will have a white belt to represent the apron that she has, and the pattern will be books. So very creative I am. The yellow dress, on the other hand, will have an off-shoulder, sleeveless look with a bustled skirt and a very tight bodice to complement my curves. The pattern will be composed of the creatures living in the castle, with some details in red. Although I am trying to push the boundaries of the rules for Disneybounding, I think this dress will not be as long as I want it to be. It cannot be short though, because otherwise the blue dress will have no skirt whatsoever, and that's not cool.
For this one, I want to have a mixed media pattern. That means I will use markers, colored pencils, watercolor, and then I will scan it in the computer, add some details there, and transform it into a pattern that we can wear.
First, I drafted the books using a normal 6B pencil on a piece of paper so that I wouldn't have any dirt or weird colors on the final picture. Then I added with watercolor a simple background, and I drew all of the books on top of that using first a colored pencil and then adding the details with the alcohol markers. After scanning it, I proceeded to make some tweaks and changes in order to create a seamless pattern by using several layers and the offset filter. It's pretty easy to make, you just need to make sure that you erase all of the weird lines on the edges and check it several times to make sure it is seamless. Otherwise, when you print it onto the fabric, you have unwanted lines. For the yellow, I didn't want to make the characters as they were, but to use the original objects that they were cursed into. For the background, I chose the yellow colored pencil on top of a textured piece of paper, and the creatures were created using alcohol markers, the same for the details. I also added some details in red in order to break the yellowness, and the digital version of this is using the same techniques as the blue one, several Photoshop layers and offsets until I achieved the seamlessness that I wanted.
This fabric turned out so cool. You can see all the details. So these are my patterns. I will cut first the lining because I need to install the boning on the lining and not on the outer fabric.
For the lining, I am using the same fabric as the top fabric, that's a cotton poplin, but in white.
Finished sewing, I pressed the seams open where I could, and now it's time to sew the boning. I will not do it on the Rolls Royce because if I break it, getting it fixed is expensive. So I have a new sewing machine. Meet my new addition, the Brother G17S with 17 different stitches, and yeah, that's it. Believe me, it costs way less to buy this than to fix the Rolls Royce. And one can never ever have enough sewing machines.
The bonings were sewn on the middle of the opened seam.
This is why I don't want it on the fabric outside, because it looks ugly.
From the inside of the facing, using a zigzag stitch.
Yes, I'm happy with this. I don't think I will need a waist stay because it will be pretty tight once I add the zipper on the back, and I want a big zipper that will show all the time. Pretty snack. The part 1 is done.
Then I proceeded to cut all of the same parts, but now on the top fabric, the pretty fabric, the yellow fabric, the one that will show.
I don't want this dress to be completely sleeveless. I want to build a sort of kragen. Yes, like this. And I've never done this before. I have to do some research. Or not. Kannst du die Katze in Ruhe lassen? Sushi wants to play with Chili. Chili is a cat and doesn't want to play with Sushi because she is a royalty cat. And Sushi cries all the time because she wants to play with Chili. Hello, Chili. Children. I should do some research, but of course I will not. I will try to figure this out by myself, and I will suffer a lot for it. I know already. Ah! What the hell? It died. At least I found this. Oh my god. How does this work? What is this? Is here? Oh my god. Stop playing games with my heart. Fusible Interfaces is one of the few things that I find somehow extremely satisfying to fuse. Let's see how this will go. I think I figured this out. So I will sew from here to here first, and then I will make 2 snips. I made 2 snips here, so when I sew the facing, it will not reach it, hopefully. The same thing I will need to do on the back. I will sew up to this seam, clip it, and then add the lining. This is not a zit, by the way. I was attacked by a very angry mosquito last night. No machines were harmed in the making of this dress, but I just realized I made a very stupid mistake. When I was adding the boning, I forgot to consider this seam allowance for the lining. I need to make some surgery.
The surgery consisted of releasing some stitches and using a clipper to trim the boning so that I was not going to be poked in my very sensitive bacon while wearing this dress.
Yay! It worked. This is it. We'll just finish this then later on. But first, I need to start working on the skirt. And I will need a lot of fabric. A lot of fabric. I'm excited. A lot of fabric. 49 inches long is inches. It's already foot. I don't know. 49 inches. Deal with it. I need to remove 5 centimeters from the waist. This will create a nice A-line that no one will see because I will bustle it. Chili's an outside cat now. Look at Chili on the outside. I see you!
After cutting the A-line, I gathered all the fabric to create some volume on the waist, but not too much. Then I attached the skirt to the bodice, right sides facing, of course. For the bustling of the skirt, I cut pieces of satin tape to attach to the skirt where all of the princess seams are. 3 in the back, 2 on the sides, and 2 on the front. So this would hold the weight of the fabric and make some cool blobs.
So I installed the zipper after a very, very long war.
Oh shit.
It's on, bitches! Say your last words.
It worked, sort of, but I fixed it already. And now I need to work on this bustle of the skirt, and for that I will need my draping doll that's already on the table. I will work myself from the bottom up and see what happens. I actually like how long it is. They will kick me out for sure.
The first trial was to do some random blobbing.
It didn't work, so I'm starting again.
The second trial was actually the successful one. I took some measurements and made them a little bit more symmetrical, and this created really cool blobs. I liked those blobs so much that I kept them.
That's it. And I have to sew this by hand. It will take a while. Now to the time lapse. 3 down, 27 to go. It's almost done. It's time to work on part 2 of this dress. Because it's a transformation dress. Because I have nothing better to do with my life than complicate everything. The book fabric. To represent, of course, the blue dress from Belle. First, I need to make a bodice. The bodice will be sleeveless, so the fake sleeves from the yellow dress peek out. I want a Peter Pan neckline, and there will be no zipper, only snaps so that I can pull it out and transform myself into Ball Gown Belle. This quest on turning myself into a princess is pretty complicated. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I keep all of my patterns hanging on the ceiling, and then I can pull it down and pick what I need. I think I will use this one so it doesn't fight too much with the lines from the bodice underneath. This also has a princess scene. I just hope it fits, because I did this a long time ago. Now to prepare the Peter Pan neck thingy, you have to put the front and back together and work with the neckline that you already have.
Just mark the width of the Peter Pan color that you want.
There it is. I will cut this on the fold, and don't forget to add seam allowances.
Then make some nice curve, the one that you find most appealing. There is no rule for that, I think. Just do whatever the hell you think it's beautiful, and you will be fine. I added some fusible interface into the inner part of the collar to give it some structure, and then I came across a terrible realization.
So very fancy. What? You know what I just noticed? That I made the back part of the pattern in the front part of the pattern. So now my beautiful Peter Pan shit here, I can throw it out. Okay, start all over again. Just fast forward, please. Again. Oh, so fancy. This mess that you are seeing is the mess that's inside my head right now. So now start mounting the bodice.
Here's the normal procedure. Just sew everything right sides facing, then add the lining right sides facing. Don't forget to add the collar between the lining and the outer bodice. Cut the curves to release the pressure, and you are done-ish.
So while I was sewing this, I was thinking that as a transforming dress, I need snaps on the shoulders and on the side so that I just can pull it out. And with that Peter Pan thing that I made, it will not be possible to do that without me having to do like this and ruining my hair. So again, I have to think, what am I going to do? I think I will have to do a third one. I'm tired. I'm so very tired. But this is what makes it fun. I decided not to do a new one, but cut this in half. Yes, cut this in half. Snap it in place, so when I pull it, it rips apart and magic happens. I will attach this to the front with the facing and then close the sides. So let's do this in parts. The front is done. I'm going to make snaps only on the left side. It is very exciting. It fits. It's working. It's hiding the yellow dress pretty well, but it needs to be a little bit bigger because now I have 2 other layers of fabric underneath that are making things tighter than they should be. And as soon as I move myself, if I start dancing like I always do, because I'm crazy, it will explode and reveal things that aren't supposed to be revealed. I'll have to add a little bit of fabric to the side and say like this the whole time in order to hide it. Because math is my best friend. Now that the easy part is done, let's proceed to do the skirt. After half an hour going to second base with my dreaming doll, I was able to close the waistline because this is the most important part right now. The blue skirt will not be attached to the body. It will flip over itself and be covered by the yellow skirt. So this will be a part that I was just like throw to the side dramatically. I considered making it a way that it would hide itself under the skirt, but this would mean that I would have too much fabric here. The blue skirt would have to come from the upper part, and I like nice feminine figures, and I didn't want to add more bacon to me than I already do have because self-esteem issues, you know. So now first I need to check what will be the length of this skirt when folded up. Blue skirt cannot be much longer than this, otherwise this will not hide it when it's flipped. I'm making it with 20 inches because I don't want to show my behind at Disneyland. I made a stay stitch here so the seam from the yellow dress is secured and also securing the fabric underneath. And then I transform this huge part into a cool pleat. And then I will do that on the other sides as well. So I will have a normal skirt. I will not be hindering the movement from this fabric. Everything will be secured with snaps. Ta-da! We have a cupcake. Let's see what happens when I release all of the parts. It worked! Well, let's upskirt my thing again. You can see a little bit of the fabric underneath, but where I really pinned it down, there will be a seam anyway, and so it will be completely hidden underneath the yellow fabric. And now I'm going to sleep. I will fall asleep standing in a few minutes. Oh, why do I keep doing this to myself? Ciao. All of the snaps are installed on the shoulders, here on the back for this thingy, and on the side. Now it's time for me to work on the skirt. And the snaps that will go on the skirt. I will add a white belt to this part here. Yes, although it doesn't look like things are taking shape slowly. This is the belt that I was talking about. I have sewn this as close to the border as I possibly could. It's kind of imperceptible that it is attached to the bodice. And the snaps will come here on the inside, and maybe I can have the drama effect that I'm wanting. I am concerned that they might kick me out of Disney with these clothes, but I like to live dangerously, so let's try this. Now that I have 4 snaps, 2 on the side, 1 on the front and 1 on the back, I need to figure out the middle of each of these big pockets so that I can then fold it and put the snap where it needs to be.
Here also there are no secrets to installing the snaps. Other than that, I installed 3 snaps per pleat.
I finished installing all the snaps on the waistline. They're holding pretty good.
The final touch was then to sew the blue skirt to the yellow one without leaving any marks. And that was a little tricky.
I think we're done. And now it's time for the review.
Although I danced ballet semi-professionally for most of my life, I am terrible at twirling. What do you think of this dress? I think it turned out pretty good, but it's not as flowy as the original from Designer Daddy because I'm using another fabric. I'm using a cotton fabric that has a little bit more structure than the fabrics that he uses for his costumes, so I had to spin around a little faster than a child did. The snaps held up pretty well in place. I didn't have any problems while walking around the parks. For example, anything falling off or opening when it wasn't supposed to. I got some weird looks from some staff while the yellow dress was out, but nothing of concern that I would say, okay, they will kick me out. There was a dude that wanted to take a picture with me and then ran away for my life really fast. And one of the main goals of Disneybounding is that you take pictures with the characters you're impersonating. I did not manage to do that because the waiting line to meet Belle was over 1.5 hours. There were so many other nice things to do at the parks. I am sorry, but yes, I did see them going around the parks once, but that was it. That was the only Belle sighting the whole time we were there. The only downside to this dress is that it takes a long time to put everything together, so I was able to transform only twice the whole time I was there. It took me almost half an hour to fold the skirt and close all of the snaps alone in the bathroom. When I put it on the first time, Steve helped me closing some things. And doing that alone in a very small space is definitely not the way to go. I definitely don't suggest that you try to push boundaries as I did with this dress, because it takes away some of the fun of being at Disneyland. I was always kind of suspicious that I would get into trouble, but nothing happened. It stays in your head. I am not a person who likes to break the rules, so consider that when trying something like this. I am annoying, but not a rule breaker. Let me know in the comments what you think about this dress. And if you like sewing shenanigans and some crazy DIY projects, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!
Was macht Mutti? Messle! Messle!
Oh my god.
Großartiger Outtake.